If you had to choose today a $250,000 lump sum or $18,000 a year for life, which would you take? That's not just a hypothetical. I actually have two pensions, one from a prior job and one from my current job, and I'm facing decisions just like this. And I'll tell you, the more I dig into it, the more I realize this decision isn't simple. It affects not just my retirement income, but also my taxes and even my Medicare costs. Hey there, I'm Cheryl, your corporate country girl, counting down just 3 years to retirement. I traded the suburbs for farm life in Alabama, but I still work a corporate job from home. And as I plan for retirement, I'm having to make some big choices about these pensions. I want to share what I'm learning because I know many of you will face the same decisions, lump sum or monthly income. Today, I'm walking through the pros and cons as I research my own options so you can learn right alongside me. Let's start with the lump sum. Taking $250,000 up front gives me control. I can roll it into my IRA, invest it, and maybe grow it into something bigger. With a reasonable return, that lump sum could generate more income than the $18,000 a year would provide. It also gives me flexibility. If something happens to me, the money doesn't vanish. The balance can be passed along to my family. That's not always the case with pensions. But here's the reality check. A lump sum also means responsibility. If I take too much too quickly or the markets take a dive, that balance can shrink fast. And then there's the tax trap. If I'm not careful about how and when I withdraw from that lump sum, it could push me into a higher tax bracket. And it's not just about taxes on paper. There's something called IRMAA, Income Related Monthly Adjustment Amount. That's Medicare's way of charging you more if your income crosses certain thresholds. So let's say I pull a big withdrawal from my IRA after rolling over that lump sum. It might cover my bills, but it could also bump me into a higher tax bracket and a higher IRMAA tier. That means not only do I owe more in taxes, but I also pay higher Medicare premiums. And those premiums stick with you all year once you cross that threshold. It's not just about how much I get, it's about how much I keep after taxes and premiums. And let's be honest, would I stay disciplined not to overspend if I had a big lump sum sitting in my account? That's a serious question I've had to ask myself. Could I really trust myself to treat this as retirement income and not as a giant piggy bank? Now, let's look at the monthly pension option. About $18,000 a year, guaranteed for life. The appeal is stability. That steady check shows up no matter what the market does, and because the payments are spread out, it usually keeps me in a lower tax bracket and helps avoid IRMAA surcharges. The downside? Inflation. $18,000 today might feel like a decent supplement, but in 15 or 20 years, it won't stretch nearly as far. And once I pass, those payments stop, unless I elect a survivor benefit, which lowers the monthly amount in my lifetime even more. Here's where it gets real for me. With two pensions, I don't necessarily have to make the same choice for both. I could take one as a lump sum and roll it into my IRA for growth and flexibility, and keep the other as steady monthly income for security. That way, I get the best of both worlds, some control, some guaranteed stability. When you're facing this kind of decision, here are the questions I'm asking myself, and I encourage you to ask yourself too. First, longevity. Does my family live long lives? If I expect to live well into my 80s or 90s, the pension might pay out more over time. Next, other income. Between Social Security, savings, and retirement accounts, do I need stability or flexibility? Then there's taxes. Will the lump sum withdrawals push me into a higher tax bracket? And IRMAA. Will those withdrawals also raise my Medicare premiums? And of course, there's legacy. Do I want money left for my heirs, or am I focused only on covering my lifetime needs? And finally, risk tolerance. Am I comfortable managing investments, or would a steady check help me sleep better? So here's my takeaway. Whether it's $250,000 lump sum or $18,000 a year pension, the choice isn't just about the math. It's about the ripple effects: your taxes, your Medicare premiums, your peace of mind, and your goals for the future. For me, with two pensions, I'll likely split the decisions: one lump sum for flexibility, one pension for stability. That way, I don't put all of my eggs in one basket. But remember, once you make the choice, it's usually permanent. So slow down, run the numbers, and ask yourself the right questions before you decide. Tell me, what about you? Would you take the $250,000 lump sum or the $18,000 per year pension? Drop your answer in the comments. I'd love to see your reasoning. This is Cheryl, the Corporate Country Girl. Thanks for joining me on my retirement planning journey. If you like what you're seeing on this channel, please subscribe. You can also drop any suggestions you have on what you'd like me to cover in the future. For more videos, check out my playlist at the link in the description below.